So in today's video, we're gonna go over a push-pull workout. This is actually my last week of this. So when it comes to running a workout, you wanna make sure you run it about 3 to 4 weeks, so then you could progress into something different. So this is my last week of this, and today we're going to do a push-pull, but not your typical push-pull that you're thinking of. First exercise is gonna be a behind the neck overhead press. So if you lack extra rotation at the shoulder, then of course that movement's going to be dangerous. But when you have that range and you're strong, we built our rotator cuff up, you should be just fine. And the behind the neck overhead press works the deltoid way more than a regular bar in front or dumbbell in front overhead press. So that's what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna pair that with a pull up or chin up, one of the two. But yes, the workout's gonna be a voiceover because out there in the gym, there's music, and we know how YouTube likes to copyright certain things, so it is what it is. But we're gonna voice over the workout and we're gonna have fun with it. But this is how I program for myself and all my clients. And we're gonna go through a little warm up before we start our very first two exercises. So this is how I'd like to warm up everybody and myself before I train upper body, and lower body's a little bit longer. But yeah, we're gonna get into it right here. And then I want you to pay attention to like the sets, reps, and then in the parentheses there's going to be a tempo. Worry about the first number. That's the lowering part, the eccentric part. So we want to create more strength on that part of the movement. It's good for the tendons, the joints, and increasing range of motion. And it's just another way of putting stress on the muscle instead of just doing the concentric part of the muscle the whole time. This is going to be a Monday's workout, and then Tuesday is going to be legs. So we're going to film a leg workout. Wednesday is going to be active recovery, so we'll film that. That's going to be like some sprints, some stretching work, and just making sure I'm getting in my food. But yeah, and then Thursday is going to be another push-pull, different workout than this. And then Friday is going to be a typical just arm day, just because I want to focus on growing my arm. So that's how we're going to do that, and this is the last week of this program. First things first, I want to say thank you so much for sticking around for the video. If you're new here, I'm telling you, you have a lot to learn that is going to definitely break out your training, especially if you're in plateaus or you're just looking for something a little bit different. And we're going to be talking about, sets, reps, tempo, and following a rest protocol. So this workout may look simple, but it was pretty damn tough, especially when we get to the chin-ups. But I want to talk about your warm-up before your upper body. This is what I believe in, and let me be honest, before I started training like this, like 7 years ago, I never warmed up really. I foam rolled a little bit, but I never took the time to stretch, to make things feel better through movement. Especially if you're in pain, most of the times it's due to restrictions and weak muscles. So if you're tight, it's due to something being weak, and we got to strengthen that. And the body's such a freak in nature thing that God has created, and I believe He's the creator of all living thing on earth. And I'll tell you right now, He did not mess up on us. So if you give the body the tools, the things for it to be able to thrive and to feel good, you're going to do this for a long period of time. And that's what I believe in right now, is being able to do the small things to make sure that we move through movement efficiently and feeling good through it. Like, you shouldn't feel restricted, and restrictions come with what does your everyday life look like. If you sit down 8 hours throughout the day, chances are your hips are going to be tight, lower back's going to be weak, and we got to create better hip mobility, strengthen the hips, strengthen the entire core. But that's because of these movement patterns that we adapted throughout our everyday life. So when it comes to training specifically based on upper body day, lower body day, I look at what your body needs, what are the priorities, where are you weak at, and I build a program based on those weaknesses. So I'm just kind of talking about things that I believe in. I wanted you to hear, especially if you're new to this. This is what I believe in. So I'm doing a T-spine stretch here. We're just going to get into the stretches. T-spine stretch, great for the lats, stretching the tricep, and this is going to allow you to have a better overhead press, specifically if you feel tight. And for front squat reasons, if you have a hard time getting the front squat, that T-spine stretch is going to allow you to open up better shoulder flexion. So when you do have the bar in your front rack position on your shoulders, like the bar choking you out, if you ever done a front squat, that's what it feels like. So we want to make sure that we're feeling good in that part of the movement. Stretching chest always. We're doing the main part of the stretching of the chest, and then earlier, if you saw me laying on the ground, you could go back to that. I was stretching the pec minor, so usually that muscle is really tight. Not a lot of people know how to stretch that one. So yeah, so the warm-up should be taken seriously, and when I have clients that work with me, I give them stretches to do based on what they need, based on their assessment. So I put everyone that I see through a full body assessment, and we talk about it, and there's a lot of light bulb moments that go off for the client. So that's something that I want you to know too. So we're doing an overhead press behind the neck here. I know a lot of you think it's unsafe. It's only unsafe if you lack external rotation of the shoulder and proper strengthening of the rotator cuff. So there's movements we could do to strengthen the rotator cuff in external rotation position to increase that range. If you lack that range of motion, you shouldn't be doing behind the neck press. It is dangerous at that point because you're not strong in that position. So we got to get stronger in that position, and there's things that we could do for that. And it's really cool because my goal is to create longevity, to make sure that you're training year round instead of having little injuries here and there. And those injuries I'm talking about are injuries that are going to take you out of the gym for a while, and that's going to prevent you from getting results. Because as a natural lifter, my goal is to continue training yearly and with little aches and pains that I could take care of with my recovery work, with massage work, anything like that. And that's going to allow me to make better strength gains. So I believe doing the small things outside of your sessions, like your stretching, soft tissue work, any type of modalities that are going to allow you to recover and feel better in the gym, that's going to keep you thriving and breaking through plateaus. Right now I'm just warming up for my first set. I always start off with a 5-rep rule as my warm-up for the first one, and then I do 3 reps. As I'm going down in reps, I'm building up the weight. I'm getting close to my working set. I'm feeling out the movement. I'm feeling how things are feeling. The warm-up's going to tell you a lot about what's going on with the movement before you load it for your first working set. So that's super important. So we're going to get into the first lift. First lift is going to be a behind the neck press. You saw me warming up to it. This is my first set now. So you read 4x12. We know we're doing 12 reps. Now I want you to think about the 4 number in the parentheses. That's the eccentric part. That's the lowering part of the movement. So I'm going to show you what it should sound like or how it should look when you're doing it. So as I go up, I'm going to start tempo. Ready? 4, 3, 2, 1. That's that eccentric number that you want to get really good at. Now we're not just doing the concentric part of the movement. We're actually going to work the eccentric part and get some strength gains that way too. So you're working both ends of the spectrum of the muscle. Not just the concentric part, the eccentric part too, which is going to allow you to create more longevity and increase strength gains and create better joint and tendon health. Rest periods 90 seconds before we get into chin-ups. So we're doing a close grip, neutral grip here, 10 reps with a 4-second negative again. So we want to make sure that we do that 4-second as best as we can. If you're new to it, it's going to be totally different for you, but I challenge you to try it out. Here's how it should look. Again, ready? Get up. 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way down and back up as best as you can. I'm telling you, I only did 4 sets of 10 here without weight, and these killed me every time. Just when I think chin-ups, pull-ups get easier, they don't. They continue to get harder. And I feel like my back has developed so much just because of how consistent I am doing them. And I started doing chin-up pull-ups consistently about 7 years ago, and there's a love-hate relationship with them. I'll tell you that right now. So behind the neck press, I like this too because we're able to work the entire deltoid, and want to make sure that you focus on pushing all the way out on your presses, because that's going to allow you to hit your triceps too and grow them more. That's why compound lifts are fantastic. So here's the chin up again. Look at my development side of my back. It's came up so much doing chin ups and doing my compound lifts. You're talking about front squat, deadlift, squats. You're talking about the big lifts that allow me to put more thickness on my back, especially the rectus spinae muscle, which surrounds the spine, which is really cool because that's how you get more thickness on that. Hitting movements that challenge the spinae muscles, which the spinae muscle, the rectus spinae muscle, works laterally, and when it works, and when we get this flexion, spinal flexion, and a spinal extension, that's where it really gets challenged. So here's our third lift, which is a B1 lift, so dumbbell bench press. We're doing neutral grip. I find it a little bit more safe for the shoulder just because I got done doing a pronated grip, and this allows me to get a deep stretch in the chest too. I'm focusing on a 3-second count and trying to push all the way up, so I'm really getting a lot out of my triceps. Triceps are a big muscle, so like when you do your compound lifts, focus on locking out. You can still get a good mind and muscle connection on the chest or the shoulders if you're doing any type of those presses. We're doing a half kneeling cable row, 10 reps. I like to do kneeling because it challenges stability too. I'm doing a rotating grip, so supinated, just a different hand placement where I'm not being redundant with my grip, pronated or neutral all the time. And it creates a different way the scapula moves on the shoulder blades, or the rib cage, sorry. Here's another view of the bench press. I felt really good, so I did 4 sets of 80 pounds, 10 reps, 3-second negative. This was perfect weight. It was challenging enough where I got to 6th, 7th rep where, I wanted to quit, but I pushed myself. Especially the last 2 sets were rough too. First sets felt really good. Definitely felt stronger than last week, because I know last week when I did this workout, my 3rd set was 8 reps. My 4th set was 7 reps, so I hit a little drop off. I didn't hit the 10 reps that I wanted, so I knew I was going to repeat that weight again for this workout, my last workout of this phase before we move on. Here's just another angle of the row, and when I do this row, I know it's not a good angle right here, but I want to make sure that I create some space from my elbow and my torso, so I'm able to see some light through there. That's going to allow me to really feel that muscle contract even more. So now we're going on to arms, C1. We're doing a dumbbell tricep extension. I'm focusing on, when I do this, I want to think about pushing my elbows through the ceiling and trying to bring the dumbbells to my shoulders without letting my elbows flare out too much. I'm doing a 3-second negative 2. This was 45 pounds, so I felt really good with that. Dumbbell spider curls for C2, 3 to 10 or 10 to 12 reps, 3-second count. I'm going to be honest with you, biceps have always been a weak point of mine, so I'm definitely building them up. I was doing 35 pounds here, and just trying to focus going all the way down, coming all the way up. I know at the end I started doing some cheating reps a little bit. Not so much, but definitely a little bit weaker in the biceps, but came a long way. I definitely am a lot stronger in my triceps for sure, and you'll see that in the end of this video when I show my physique. My triceps just look way more developed, which I'm happy they are. They should be, because there's 3 heads in the tricep. Bicep has 2 heads, so triceps need to be bigger. Here's another view. You see how I'm not letting my elbows flare out as much? You don't want to do that. I'm trying to keep my elbows as stacked above my shoulders as much as possible when I do this. Fully extension all the way up, all the way down, so you get that full stretch. So you're developing that tricep fully, maturely, and a healthy. Full range is a healthy muscle, a healthy joint. So we want to make sure that we do that every time. And this was the workout. The workout was A1, A2, and then you got B1, B2, and then you got C1, C2, which are the arms. We did a total of 6 exercises. Yeah, that's it. And it took me about 50 minutes, 55 minutes, following my rest times. And I'm telling you, when you follow your rest time between sets, it's going to challenge you, because you're not going to feel like going sometimes. You're going to feel like you need more rest, but you don't. It's just a mentality thing. It's a head thing. You got to push yourself. That's where you're going to start seeing results. When you start timing your rest, you're going to see a big difference in your training. You should not be training longer than an hour, hour 10, hour 15 tops. That's it. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and looking forward to seeing you.
So we just got done with the workout, and that pump was insane. And the workout took me, there you go, that's better. There you go. The workout took me an hour. That's how long it should be. Now, if you listen to the voiceover, the exercises are paired together. The overhead press, the chin up, the dumbbell bench press with the 1-arm row, and then we got the flat tricep with the curls. If you've seen it, I definitely struggle with curls. Biceps are a weak point of mine, But my arms are feeling pretty damn pumped right now though. Let's give you a little physique check. But this is upper body 1, push-pull. This is my overhead day. So this is what you would run on a Monday. And this whole split that we're gonna run is 4 days. So, like I said in the beginning. Okay, let's see this pump. Battery's about to die, but pump is freaking good, guys. Definitely felt stronger in all my lifts, progressed in everything. And I track my workouts, each one, so I know moving in the right direction. Other than that, hope you appreciate the video. Looking forward to leg day with you.